Have you ever wondered what truly makes a person change? Is it when they are criticized or when they are helped? No, real change only begins when they feel understood and not judged. Welcome to the Inner World Podcast. I'm Liam Johnson, and today's journey continues our series of 21 episodes exploring inner wisdom. Here, we don't just talk about external events. We reach into the core of inner transformation. From that foundation, you can build a resilient life from within, a path of deep growth and awareness. In previous episodes, we've explored how to attract talented individuals, the principle of the Great Cluster, and the 6 golden words that foster sustainable action. But today we enter a whole new chapter, a chapter where, if you go deep enough and stay honest, you'll no longer be hurt by others, and you won't need to change anyone to find peace. Today's topic: compassion and the storehouse of karmic imprints. You see, we talk a lot about values, contribution, and leadership, but rarely do we ask this: how do you become someone whose mere presence inspires others to be better? It's not about capability, it's not about skills. It's about energy, and that energy is called compassion. But before you can embody compassion, you must first unlock a secret vault, a place where all your subconscious data, karmic imprints, and old memories are stored. We call it the storehouse of karmic imprints, and only when it is opened with the energy of wisdom do we begin to understand why we react. In this video, we'll walk through step by step the difference between forgiveness, tolerance, mercy, and compassion, why only compassion truly helps others willingly change, how to stay detached from others' faults while maintaining clear boundaries in work and relationships, and most importantly, how the energy of compassion can help you create a healing field around you. Don't miss the most important part at the end of this video, where I'll share a simple yet profoundly powerful model. The triangle of compassion: respect, understanding, acceptance. If you apply this, your presence will shift the atmosphere of any room you walk into. If you're searching for a way to live with steadiness without being swept into emotional drama, then this Inner World podcast series is for you. Stay until the very end, because sometimes a single moment of awakening can change an entire lifetime. You see, compassion is the highest state of inner maturity. It not only helps you feel lighter, but also becomes the foundation for others to willingly transform. But I want you to go further, because once you begin to live within the energy of compassion, you'll discover something extraordinary. Good people will begin to find their way to you. Yes, I call them noble teachers, those who carry the light of wisdom, life experience, integrity, and a desire to spread what is right. But here's the big issue. Most of us aren't mature enough to recognize them, and even less equipped to keep them close. Let's take a moment to reflect. Your accomplishments today, if you look closely, think about it, aren't they all because of others? You didn't succeed on your own. You were guided to succeed. You were enlightened. You were supported. And much of that came from people you didn't know how to properly appreciate. That's why today in the Inner World podcast, I'm sharing with you a profoundly important lesson: how to treat noble teachers and create an environment that attracts talent. First, we need to see clearly to not miss those of value. The paradox is this: people often stand before a towering mountain and don't realize it's a mountain. They call their teachers just instructors, their parents, the old folks, and those who show them the way, just friends. They don't realize they're living beside noble teachers and don't even know it. Why? Because they lack the concept. Without the concept, you can't recognize, and without recognition, you'll treat lightly the one who holds the treasure that could change your life. So, who is a noble teacher? They are the ones who help you awaken to the essence of human life. They are the ones who, in just one conversation, can awaken you for a lifetime. They are the ones who, with a single sentence, can redirect your life toward the right path. So, have you ever met such a person? If you have, then you must cherish them. You don't need to bow or glorify them. What you need is a receptive attitude, with humility and seriousness. One of the most important concepts I want you to remember is achievement comes through people. If you haven't truly appreciated those who helped you, you may unknowingly block the flow of energy they could have offered. In other words, when you treat someone with wisdom lightly, they won't share more. Not because they are selfish, but because you have not yet earned it. You see, so many talented people have come near you, but you didn't notice. Because you were only looking for those who can get the job done, not those who help you understand life and yourself. You sought problem solvers, but overlooked dream enablers. A true teacher won't stay to lecture you forever. They will appear at the right moment, then step away. But if you are attentive and sincere, you'll keep them, not through money, but through the energy you emit. Respect, compassion, eagerness to learn, and inner steadiness. Are you creating such an environment? An environment where talented people are heard, not dismissed. Wise people are valued, not belittled. Those who want to share are encouraged, not shut down. Because the environment shapes the people, and it also determines who will walk away from you. You use gratitude to build long-lasting bonds in these relationships. Have you ever felt so grateful to someone that just thinking of them makes you want to live better? That is when you reach a new energy level: respect, gratitude, and action. Noble teachers don't need you to say thank you. They need to see that you've changed, because your transformation is the most beautiful thank you. And do you know what happens then? You begin to become the one who carries it forward, not just learning, but sharing. You will have the ability to touch others' lives, just as you were once touched. Remember this: there is no simpler path than having someone show the way. If someone has ever inspired you, taught you, opened a door, then you owe this life one thing: to become a light for others. Become a noble teacher of humanity, one who shares from real experience, one who helps others awaken, not just know more, one whose mere presence brings peace. The journey of becoming someone who values knowledge, connects with talent, and spreads light will not be easy, but it is the only journey worthy of a lifetime. And we will meet again in the next part, where you'll learn how to cultivate wisdom at its very root. So now you understand, spreading value isn't just about learning, it's about becoming someone who is grateful, respectful, and connected to noble teachers. But there will come a time when you must turn inward and ask a more important question: who am I, and what model am I striving to become? You see, if you don't have a clear image in your mind, if you lack a portrait of the ideal person you wish to become, then every effort to grow will be like rowing a boat without direction. Each time the wind changes, you turn around. And here is what I want to help you see: the portrait of 9 in 1, a model of holistic development distilled from the philosophy of root-level education. Why do we need 9 in 1? If you develop only one aspect of life, you will feel imbalanced. You might be strong in finance but weak in relationships. You might excel in logic but be fragile within. The philosophy of root-level education doesn't help you become great at just one thing. It helps you become someone with deep inner foundations and the capacity to express powerfully on the outside. The 9-in-1 model is not a slogan. It's a training path for transformation from a vague individual in life to a person of substance and influence. On that path, you need to recognize 3 tiers of development, which are the 3 root elements you must anchor into. If you've ever felt like, "I've studied a lot but still feel lacking, not enough," the simple reason is you haven't fully developed the 3 core elements: matter, energy, and information. Root of matter, mastering 4 core life domains: inner world, health, relationships, and finances. These are concrete expressions in your life. If you haven't mastered these 4 pillars, you will always feel insecure. Root of energy, becoming someone with wisdom, insight, discernment, and depth. This is the depth of awareness that helps you respond rightly in challenging situations. Root of information, becoming 9-in-1. This means integrating roles, personalities, and abilities so that when life calls for it, you know which self to embody. An ordinary person may live an entire life in one role. A truly mature person can switch roles at the right time, showing up as the right person at the right moment. Next, there's a concept we need to understand correctly: wealth. Does financial abundance alone mean wealth? We'll now explore the 7 dimensions of holistic wealth, an essential part of this video. Within the 9-in-1 is the foundation of the 7 dimensions of holistic wealth. Because if you're only rich financially but lack inner richness, but not both, then we were imbalanced. Rich in awareness, rich in love, rich in responsibility, rich in life purpose, rich in value-based connections, rich in inner strength, and finally, rich in applied wisdom. This is the result of a true training journey, and if you commit to it, you'll feel yourself enlightened day by day. Once you become 9-in-1, you are no longer just a learner. You are a transmitter. You help those around you, especially the next generation, gain access to foundational, root-level knowledge. You don't need to be great at everything, but you must have a deep desire. I will live fully so that my life is proof of true maturity. And perhaps you don't yet realize, we all have a mission. If you don't grow internally, what will your children have to follow? If you don't live rightly, you will leave behind a distorted portrait for the next generation. No one may say this to you directly, but it's happening every day. We must dare to dream big, so that the deepest knowledge has a reason to exist. The wise ones, the silent holders of treasure, they need to see that you are strong enough to receive. If not, knowledge will fade, simply because there is no one worthy to pass it on to. You see, it's not that you're not smart enough. It's that you haven't recognized your own role in humanity's journey of transformation. Do not underestimate your dreams. If you only seek safety, if you work just to survive, then you wouldn't be watching this video and listening this far. I believe you have a dream or a deep longing. If you dare to dream big, enough to reach the frequency of compassion, enough to recognize the role of noble teachers, and committed enough to become 9-in-1, then remember, the path is no longer far once you take the first step. We are not learning something new. We are simply awakening the deep truths sleeping within. And when you live like that, others begin to awaken too. That is true transmission. And in the next part, we'll go even deeper, how to operate the four essential life domains: inner world, health, relationships, and finances, in a way that is harmonious, stable, and rooted in true maturity. Don't miss it, because if you haven't mastered these four pillars, then every other success is just a fragile shell. And once you have a clear image of the 9-in-1, and you understand that to become a light, you must train to embody all 9 types, from the student to the leader, from the thinker to the doer, there will come a time when you must face something you may have never truly confronted: karma, collective karma, and the secret vault buried deep within yourself. You may have heard of karma as a vague spiritual concept, but today I want you to understand it in the most practical way. Karma is not something distant. Karma is all the information currently operating within you, shaping how you think, how you react, and how you live. And if you don't understand karma, you will never truly change at the root. So, what is collective karma, and why does it determine everything? Have you ever wondered why some people can hear one sentence and experience a profound shift, while others spend years learning and still return to old patterns? The answer lies in the storehouse of karma. In other words, each person carries within them an invisible repository of emotions, memories, reactions, beliefs, and accumulated wounds. All of this forms an unconscious operating system that governs you daily. More specifically, the storehouse of karma is the sum of your karmic patterns: psychological, emotional, mental habits, beliefs, and experiences, both positive and negative, that have sunk deep into your subconscious. Every time you react, judge, get hurt, or love, you leave an imprint in this storehouse. Over time, it forms the deepest essence of your being. These are unresolved memories, often painful, traumatic, repressed, limiting or distorted beliefs about yourself, others, and the world. Emotional reaction patterns like anger, insecurity, anxiety, envy. Recurring scenarios in relationships, work, or finances, yet you don't know why. Even positive seeds like gratitude, compassion, and integrity, if deeply planted, you may not remember, but the storehouse remembers. You may deny it, but the collective karma still records it. And here's the important truth. If you don't unlock the storehouse of karma, you'll only change on the outside, while inside you remain your old self. To activate this storehouse, you must activate karmic patterns. So how do you access the layer of karmic patterns? There is only one way: activated through the energy of wisdom. Not through logic, not through emotion, but through the third energy layer, where you observe yourself with calmness, clarity, and compassion. You cannot open the storehouse of karma through judgment. You can only open it with a high-energy source of observational wisdom. You touch a different frequency, a frequency that allows you to listen to yourself without being attached to what you hear. I call this the state of non-attachment. It is the gateway to the authentic inner self. In the practice of activating karmic patterns, there is one concept you must master: non-attachment. What does it mean? It means seeing another's mistake, but not letting it enter your heart. It means recalling a painful memory, but no longer feeling suffocated by it. It means witnessing injustice, yet maintaining inner balance. This is when you begin to live from awareness, not ego-driven reaction. And at that very point, the door to the storehouse of karma begins to open. You start to see why you often get hurt in relationships, why you are afraid to receive money, why you always feel not good enough. It is not due to the outside world. It is because of the karma you carry within. And you activate the energy of wisdom with these three keys: respect, understanding, acceptance. If you apply these three, they will take you deep into the karmic layer without causing further harm. Respect, not just for others, but for what you've been through. Even mistakes are valuable lessons. Understanding, the ability to reflect from multiple angles. When you understand why you made that choice in the past, only then can you truly forgive yourself. Acceptance, the end of resistance. It means no longer fighting what has already happened. You may not agree with it, but you no longer avoid it. And when you accept, you begin to transform. When you activate karmic patterns, you are no longer a victim of the past. You become the one who rewrites destiny. You begin to see. Every wound is a point of light calling you back to yourself. Every mistake is a door to learn how to love. Every collapse is a chance to learn how to rise on your own 2 feet. From there, you no longer fear karma. You know that every karma holds a wisdom waiting to be awakened. And once you touch that layer, you begin to live free from the unconscious mind's control. Here's a question for you. If you don't unlock your storehouse of karma, what legacy will you leave? A life of automatic reaction? A mind full of limits? A bloodline that repeats suffering for the next generation? Or will you be the first to face it, the first to open the storehouse of karma, the first to live by wisdom? When you clarify and liberate yourself, that journey begins with the storehouse of karma. If you're ready, you don't need to understand everything. You only need to dare take one step, turn inward, and listen to what you've hidden for so long. In the next part, I will take you even deeper, where you'll understand why the state of compassion is the condition for beneficial karma to be created. Because it's no longer just a theory. It is a living energy, one you can feel in every moment. If you've come this far, then you carry a mission. And that mission only begins when you dare to open the storehouse of karma. So you have dared to open the storehouse of karma. You've reflected on your entire inner journey, and for the first time, no longer run away. No more blame, no more hiding from the light within. That's when you've accepted and made peace with yourself. So, after making peace with yourself, how will you treat others? This is when you need a special kind of energy, an energy that is both calm and powerful. It does not judge, does not interfere, yet is strong enough to make others want to change on their own. That energy is called compassion. Compassion is not forgiveness. Many people confuse these concepts. Forgiveness is when you accept the mistake, but still remember it. Tolerance is when you think of others, but still carry the emotional wound. Forbearance is a deeper level. You see the fault, but it no longer affects you much. But compassion is the highest level. You see the fault without letting it enter you. You recognize what's wrong, but hold no thoughts in your heart. Compassion is not weakness. On the contrary, compassion is the supreme strength of someone who has mastered their inner world. Compassion is the state of being unattached to anything that arises in the mind due to external circumstances. Unattached means you can stand in the storm without being shaken. You can hear criticism without being hurt. You can see a loved one's mistake without reacting harshly. And at that moment, you become a mirror reflecting others' self-awareness. So why does a compassionate person help others change themselves? Because you don't interfere, you don't force, you don't impose. You accept them as they are, within reasonable limits, with the belief that they can become better. You don't try to fix them, You don't try to save them. You don't give endless advice. Instead, you show up with awakened energy, and that allows others to connect to a higher frequency. From there, they begin to recognize their own distortions, and they change. To step into compassion, you need to open 3 doors: respect, understanding, acceptance. You cannot be compassionate if you don't pass through these 3. Respect. Every person has their own journey. Compassion doesn't mean agreement. It means honoring differences. Understanding. You realize that behind every misguided action is an unhealed wound. Understanding brings you gentleness, acceptance, not denying reality, not resisting. You accept others as beings in the process of growth, not perfect, but capable of change. And when you've walked through all 3 steps, you become the embodiment of compassion. Compassion does not apply to tasks, it applies to people. This is an important distinction. Compassion is for people, not behaviors, not tasks, not procedures. In work, you need standards, rules, and discipline. But in life, with people, you need a listening heart and an unattached inner state. If you confuse this, you'll forgive mistakes at work, which leads to unprofessionalism. But if you uphold principles at work while being compassionate with the person who made the mistake, you maintain quality without losing your compassion. The signs of a truly compassionate person are: you don't have to say much. Others feel your calmness. They don't feel judged. They feel heard. And when they feel safe, they begin to change, without you needing to speak or convince them. Because where there is compassion, there opens the door for self-awareness to awaken. One note for you: compassion is not easy. So why is it so difficult? Because we're still attached. We still hold on to the self, still want others to change according to our will. You want your children to obey. You want colleagues to be professional. You want loved ones to behave rightly. But you forget one thing: you are not the center of the world, and everyone has their own journey. Compassion is not abandoning standards. Compassion is accepting reality and choosing to live without being dependent on others' emotions. If there's one thing to remember about compassion, compassion is not a behavior, it is an energy. You cannot pretend to be compassionate. Others will sense the insincerity. But when you truly respect, truly understand, truly accept, you don't need to say a word. Your energy is already enough to be felt. And at that moment, you stop trying to change the world. You become a quiet center, a lighthouse in the dark, a place for others to return without fear of judgment. If you've made it this far, let compassion become the light that guides your way. No one is perfect. But when you become compassionate, you don't live only for yourself. You live for the next generation. You live to plant a new frequency into the world. Dear friend, when I received this knowledge, I was truly happy. I felt something very different, not just ordinary information, but an energy, gentle yet profound, awakening. Something inside me was touched. We don't need more from the outside. What we truly need is to be reminded of what already exists within us. And if that happened to you today, even just a little, it brings happiness to me and to everyone who created this video. Because these are seeds being planted in you, offering a chance to reflect on yourself. It's a process I have been through, am going through, and will continue to go through. If you found this video meaningful, please consider subscribing and turning on notifications so YouTube can let you know when new content is released. I believe you are not just a viewer, but a companion on this journey, and I'm truly grateful for that. Thank you for taking the time to listen. See you in the next sharing, where we'll continue the journey back to our true selves.